What's up, Kissables? This is the Kissable Diva, and you are tuning in to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss love, sex, and relationships. Make sure to tune in every Sunday, 8 p.m. We're available on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. This is a show about good and bad stressors, or eustress and de-stress, and how to deal with that in your relationships. So I felt like this was something, even though it's veering off of what our initial course was, because I know that this season is Fire and Desire, and we're talking about intimacy, sexuality, and things to spice up the relationship. But I feel that if we recognize what our positive stressors and our negative stressors are, that you'll be able to adapt a little bit better to your partner, so that those nice, intimate, sexual activities can be so much easier to do. So on today's show, I have Dr. Latasha Russell. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So I just wanted to, if you could, introduce yourself to our listeners.
Oh, sure. Hi, listeners. I love that Kissable. That is everything.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Tasha. I am a doctor of clinical psychology. I do what I call drive-by therapy. So we're going to make sure that we hit the truth quickly, but hopefully that you enjoy it.
Awesome. So, eustressors is labeled as a positive stress. Positive stressors are getting married, getting a new position, having a baby. Those life changers, anything that is a life-changing event is a stressor, but those are good stressors. De-stressors are, and eustressors are more, makes you focused. It gives you motivation and energy, and you're stressing because you're using all of your energy to focus on getting married, to focus on having a baby. But de-stressors are the negative stress, where it causes an anxiety and, weight loss, and sometimes, it leads to eating a lot. And those can be where a tragedy, a death in the family, or a loss of a job, a divorce, a loss of, a life, or something like that. So just wanted to have Dr. Russell elaborate on those good and bad stressors, and then apply that to relationships, and how we already talked about how we can communicate, or how we can recognize those things. We already talked about love languages, but just to dig a little deeper, the more that you know, the more that you know how to operate, basically.
Well, first of all, you know your stuff. I'm over here taking notes. Good Lord, Professor. So I love that. So EU stressors, and you talked about them. I wrote some down myself. Getting married, new position, even buying the ring, right? Mm-hmm. So he's going through all of this to buy the ring, to make sure it's the right ring. Right. Vacations, I was thinking of, like, it's fun to go on vacation, right, but to actually plan the vacation, right, that itinerary. Dates, to want to have a really good date pop off, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in a relationship or you're trying to fall in love, that's a big stressor. Mm-hmm. Wearing the right thing, right? Could you imagine making sure your hair is nice? Like, that's actually a stress to make sure you're fine. Mm-hmm. One of the things that when you said that, I was thinking about dopamine. So chemical dopamine is like what makes us feel like pleasure. Right? And so the idea of, you used it earlier, bringing focus to something for something good to happen, which is a good stressor. So the dopamine is like, oh, wow, I'm about to go on a date. I want to feel this. Or I just got this new position. I want to feel this. So the anxiety is not like debilitating like the bad stressors. The insecurities I was thinking of that come from the weight gain or the weight loss due to the anxiety or the unemployment. I love that you said that. That in a relationship, that will change lives. Like, that is actually one of the biggest things that will happen from, will allow a relationship to go from positive to negative or married to divorce. It's just the idea of unemployment and grief. and sex, obviously, a low sex drive. Even traffic. Can you imagine? Because I'm on my way to go on a date, right? I'm sad and salty about the traffic. Right. So by the time I get there, now can you believe that just messed up our whole date? Now we need to learn how to manage our anxiety. Now, how this goes into relationships, I'm glad you asked. Yes. So performance, I was thinking of. Let's talk about performance. So if I'm a confident woman, I'm able to have sex with the lights on. Guess what doesn't happen if I'm not so confident?
That's true.
The lights are off. We got the t-shirt over because I don't want you to see my stretch marks or the way my belly button hangs or that muffin top that I've been saying I'm going to go to the gym and take care of, but I'm not. So I'm going to keep a t-shirt on and I'm going to have the lights off. And guess what's going to happen to my performance with my boo? It's going to be close to, like, I won't be hitting my potential.
That's right.
So the idea of the weight gain due to, or weight, obviously the weight loss is something too, because you can be insecure about being too skinny. I used to like those, the good fats, I call it. The breast a little plump and the booty's just right, right? That's the good fats. And so if that goes away, you may actually not like to look in the mirror or you will not perform. Another thing that I was thinking about with the anxiety of bad stressors, if you are feeling not confident in yourself, this happens a lot with men. If they're not feeling like they can provide, they're actually not even wanting to be there. If we're talking about dating, like they don't even sometimes even ask a woman for her number because he cannot provide the dinner that he wants to. Or a husband, right, who's wanting to wine and dine his boo and he's not able to anymore. He's now going to almost withdraw and say, I don't want to go anywhere. So now there's no intimacy in the relationship, even though a hug is free. But all he can think about is how he can't afford a hug. But you see how crazy that is? It's in his head that he's not enough. So let's talk about the good stressors and how they positively impact the relationship. So unless you have a question.
No.
About anything?
No.
No? Okay. So another good stressor, when we talked about positions, I thought about this when you were saying something earlier, and I said, wow, who would think that so we're in the middle of, say we're engaged in the intercourse, and just the idea to go from, I don't know, missionary to doggy style, right? So what are we going to do? Now, I'm wanting to go on top, right? Let's just say I'm confident. And I'm wanting to go on top. And then I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's liking this. So then the next stressor is, I got to do something else that he likes. So is that like, do I need to go faster, slower, tighten up, get your Kegels right? Because you got to get your Kegels right. Oh, okay. Oh, we don't need to talk about Kegels? Oh, we need to go into them Kegels. We can do Kegels while watching TV. I'm doing mine right now. Right now, y'all, 3 times. Okay, Kegels. But the idea is that the next thing is like, oh, and I know that he likes doggy style, so let me go and do doggy style, right? What happens when the brother catch a cramp? So now he got a stressor in the middle of his doggy style, and now he's trying to figure out how can I flip her around and get back on top of me to do something where this cramp ain't hurting as much. You know, you get older, cramps happen. Yeah. Gotta drink your water, folks. You got that? Water really helps. Drink your water before engaging in sex. It's a big deal.
It is.
Because you can catch a cramp just like running a lap.
That's right.
So, when you're changing positions, just in your mind, be happy and kind of like encourage yourself that you're really just trying to please the person. So don't be so hard on yourself when it comes to that, changing positions. Because I think that is a good stressor, just wanting to please the other person. And if you can't, it could be eventually, then we could move into the bad stressors. There's a lot of folks, do you guys ever talk about oral sex on your Kissable nights? This
season we're getting into that. Right. But now that I'm thinking about it, this episode may need to go on this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to organically move.
Yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, this season is about fire and desire. And we got into the love languages. We interviewed couples. How do they deal? How do they communicate? I just had a podcast or an interview with Miss Amber Wright, and she's a specialist in communication. Okay. And how to read
each other. Wow. I should listen to that.
So we are getting into the sexual part of it and things to explore, because I talked about the importance of dating your mate and the importance of listening, because sometimes we kind of like don't want to don't want to hear what they have to say sometimes.
Now we get into the listening. Listening is verbal and nonverbal.
Right.
Ain't it crazy? You can actively listen and actually inactively listen.
Right.
There's two ways to listen.
So when your partner feels like they can't express themselves, it's either they're going to clam up and they're not going to be available when you want them to be, or they're going to find it somewhere else.
For sure.
And then later on in the relationship, you find that they have a fetish in, I don't know, going to lips or something.
Yes.
And then when they try to express this to you, you didn't want to hear it. So those are the things that I want to open up to people to be, because you can only control yourself. You can't control the next person.
Not to mention anybody that's had multiple partners. So, of course, we do an attaboy when you got a lot of women. But at the same time, if you're still doing that same thing that worked for Monica, Keisha might not be feeling that.
Exactly.
You might need to slow down.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or you might need to do something harder or softer because it ain't the same as what Monica likes. And that actually can be a detriment when you have multiple partners. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I was thinking of oral sex. When I was thinking about oral sex was with the stressors and bad stressors. So the idea of wanting to please your mate and knowing that they're not responding to you.
Right.
That can really hurt your feelings.
Yes.
I mean, like, you become insecure, insensitive. You don't want to do nothing no more.
Right.
Am I enough? Does he still like me? Does she still like me? To feel wanted is its own kind of romance. Because actually we kind of do things to kind of live up to a certain person. When the person really wants us, we're like, oh, we want to do even better than that.
Right.
So I was thinking about what makes you aroused. So the idea of not even being hard on yourself if you're not responding. So a lot of times we have a hard time communicating, I'm not aroused right now. I know I can say personally, because I talk about myself. Yes, Dr. Tasha will tell you what's going on this end. But sometimes I'll never forget. I wonder if my dad will hear this. But if so, he's going to learn something. I remember when kissing on my nipples was nothing until I got my nipples pierced. So I remember my girlfriend, hey, Erica, high school, okay, in Michigan, it went down. She told me how she liked it. And I remember thinking, I don't feel anything. I mean, I'm talking from when I started with my high school sweetheart up until about 23. I didn't even understand how people can enjoy feeling aroused by their being kissed on their breast until I got my nails pierced, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is right there. But the idea was, if my guy, right, wanted to romance me in that way, I would just allow him to do so, but I actually wasn't enjoying it at all. I'm talking about 8-7 years good. And this happens a lot with partners. We know that the other person wants to kiss you on your neck. I'm not a neck person. But going and touch like somehow my inner elbow, I don't know, what is that? You can't kiss me on my neck, but I need to communicate. But if you like to kiss me on my neck, I need to allow you, because you're also enjoying that kiss.
Right.
So it's not really all about me in the romance. But then I need to communicate like, oh yeah, and if you could just go down a little further down my arm, I really love that. It kind of tickles and it makes me giggle. Being attentive to your lover is something that you were talking about, just the listening. I tell people all the time, most people that are the best lovers are ones that are attentive to the breathing with anything romantic. So if there's something sexual happening and that, that breath when you're like, you know what I mean? What? You are hitting it.
Absolutely.
You got to go back to whatever you just did if you got some breasts happening.
Yeah.
So the little breasts, but when you could tell like they're like on rest, it's almost like the resting, what is that, the heartbeat? When you're on the treadmill and they like, could you start walking?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have your resting heartbeat, something ain't working. Right. Because you're actually not stimulating the other person.
Right.
So we are going to listen to the breathing when it comes to being a good lover. But don't be so hard on yourself, going back to the stress topic. Don't be so hard on yourself to explore your partner. Just get to the next place and on their body that will bring that breathing, that when they kind of breathe a little quickly, or even almost when they take hard breaths like sighs, that means that was good also. So, but don't be so hard on yourself when you're trying to be the best lover to your partner. But for those that are receiving it, just make sure you communicate, like you said with the young lady. Make sure that you communicate. That's huge.
Yes.
When it comes
Very
to
huge.
love
Absolutely.
and sex.
So what about the de-stressors? Like usually like when you're in a relationship and your partner is hurting, even though that you necessarily can't comfort them to the point where they're okay, but you can, try to comfort them, whether it be a death or loss of a job, those routines and activities that you two did together in the house,
it don't work anymore.
It changes. And how can someone in a relationship adapt to those changes? Like, or even realize, because some people don't even realize they're so into their lives and routines that they don't even know, hey, this affects what we have going on right here.
Ooh, this is such a good question. I'm going to say this for straight couples. I don't know if you have gay couples that listen. But for straight couples or when dealing with a man, so I guess if you're a man dealing with a man, but for women dealing with men, make sure that you sometimes just shut up. I got to say it like that. A lot of times, and I've learned this for myself, we always trying to say the right thing. When really, when it comes to a man, sometimes he really just wants you to be. There's like I forgot where I got this from, but it has to do with like a road trip. So if we're on a road trip for 4 hours, right? Now the woman wants to talk about the cars going by, whatever they're about to do for their vacation for 4 hours straight, talking. Guess what the brother wants to do? He wants to listen to music and just be. Now, if you're trying to be a great lover to a man, listen to me clearly. You go on that road trip, just try me. I mean, let Kissable Nights know. You're going to go on this road trip quietly. And you're going to go and you're going to come back quietly. He is going to think to himself, wow, that was such a great trip. Now, you, on the other hand, you swallowed 1,000 words because you was trying to be quiet. You're like, this was boring. He didn't talk to me. But I just want to say that when they're really in a place, sometimes you just need to be and literally beside them. I'm writing the book. Eventually, it should be done by the end of this year. But it's on just the reasons why a dog is a man's best friend. Now, people get a little nervous about me saying this. But the idea is that the dog comes to the owner's side and just puts his head or her head in the owner's lap. They're happy to see you when you come. And then they sit quietly while you're watching the game. And they'll let you know when they want affection, will they not? They put their little nose right at you, and that means come and pet me. So if sometimes we could become lovers that just where you're just being and not saying anything or even doing, like maybe I need to make his favorite whatever meal. He'll feel better. No, he actually might want you to just sit there, watch the game, and be quiet. And he's happier, with you doing that versus you trying to say the right thing. So that's one thing that just being quiet. When it comes to a woman, I would say, when it comes to death, and then we talked about loss, I would say whoever her lover is, I would say talk to her. What can I do for you? It's something really beautiful about someone that is in tune and doesn't mind serving you when you're in a place of need.
Right.
Being served? What? Even bringing me a bottle of water. How beautiful is that when you're like, oh my God, thank you. I am thirsty. So small, right? 30-cent bottle of water. But you just made my day. A Kit Kat. Oh my God, I love mine. Thank you. It don't have to be the $20 flowers on the way home from Publix. It could literally be the Kit Kat that was 89 cents at the gas station on your way home. Just don't forget about being thoughtful and then serving the person. I know for women, that really matters. Because a lot of times she doesn't ask that of you. But when you offer it, it's like, wow, he might get it tonight.
That's true. Going back to what you were saying, like being silent, taking that ride in the car and not saying anything.
So hard.
So I believe that. That is true. But there are some men who are opposite. And women who take on that role where they would rather them to be quiet and just ride or just drive.
That's true. There are exceptions.
Right. You kind of have to like cover it all because everybody's not like that. Every male is not like that. At least I know that I've met a couple that are not like.
They want to talk the whole time in the road.
They just want to talk. And I feel.
And are you the opposite? And you need the quiet?
No, not because I like to talk.
Okay.
But I'm just saying. I kind of feel funny because they talking so much. You know what I mean?
Wow.
If you're talking more than me, it's a problem. And I know I like
to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know too many men that say that when they want to retreat, they want to talk. I can't say I know that. So there are exceptions, though, like you said. If that is the case, wow. You need to know your partner. So that's number one, right?
Exactly.
And so if I have a boo, I'm going to call myself Carlos right now. So I'm Carlos, and I got my boo right beside me. We're going to call her Claudia. And so if she literally is the one that wants to be silent and I want to talk, and I'm in the road trip, I would say whoever's driving is how it goes. That's some little road trip etiquette. You guys know how when somebody come in your car and they change your radio, and you looking like, I didn't really ask you
exactly
if you want an R&B
That's
or
right.
hip hop.
That's right.
So I would say that whoever's in the driver's seat dictates gender, however that is, male or female, silent or not. They should be able to dictate how the trip should be. As the passenger, make sure that you are submitting to the driver.
I like that.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, so it looks like you covered very well positive and the negative stressors and how it can affect, and gave examples and even gave solutions as to how to react to those things. And I think that was great. I really don't have any more questions.
What?
I think you did really well. But Kissables, if you have any questions for Dr. Russell, please comment on the blog on kissablenight's.com, and I'll be sure to forward them to her, and then she can respond to you. But I think you did very well.
Can I tell them my Facebook and Instagram?
Since you mentioned it, go ahead.
Okay, so it's Doctora Tasha. So Doctora, because Dr. Tasha in Spanish, you put the A at the end of doctor. So Doctora, and then Tasha, Tasha. So that's Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so do you have anything coming up? Any events?
Yes, a speed dating event.
Oh, yes.
February 15th at Crave.
Oh, awesome.
February 15th at Crave Restaurant and Lounge in Sunrise. It's right off of Pine Island and 44th.
What day does that fall on?
The day after Valentine's Day. So just in case Cupid misses you, we're going to find you someone on Thursday.
Oh, it's on the Thursday.
February 15th at Crave Restaurant and Lounge.
Nice.
Yes, come on.
I'll be sure to pass that on. I have
all ages. We have
all
25 to 45 age group, and then a 46 plus. Because folks forget that 60 plus, sometimes you're still looking for a boo.
That's right.
We just got to find a pool of them to make them match.
And what's the cost of
Oh, $10. $10 per person.
$10 per person. Great. So, guys, you know how to follow Dr. Russell. And if you're in the South Florida area, off of Sunrise, you say?
Yes. So it's in Sunrise, off of Pine Island.
Off of Pine Island. And it's February 15th at Crave, a speed dating event, which I'm so happy that you're doing that.
Yes, thanks for asking.
Yeah, because I've been looking for speed dating.
Yes, we're going to find you one.
Yes, come ready, girl.
Yes, or we can do one together. Oh, is it on the vision board?
Yes.
Look how this works.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can create one together.
Absolutely.
I try to do it every other month.
Awesome. Okay. That sounds good. So, Kissables, thank you so much for tuning in. We went over good stressors and negative stressors, and I know you got something out of it because I did. And make sure to follow me at The Kissable Diva on Instagram and Twitter. Just stay tuned for the next show. I mean, I've been having really some real good big heavy hitters these past couple of podcasts. So if y'all not listening consecutively, y'all missing out. But anyhow, the beauty of it is that you can go back and listen because they are recorded. So with that, Kissables, thank you so much for tuning into the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss everything love, sex, and relationships. Tune in every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're available on iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Keep it kissable.